Hello and welcome to the Talkin Bits podcast. This is your host, Michael. With me is the other guy, Nathaniel.
Yep, it's me. I'm the Garfunkel of this duo, I like to think. Those are for all our 80-year-old listeners who enjoy that kind of music. What's up, buddy?
What's up, man?
Excited?
It's been a minute since we've actually recorded, and I mean, we have to address it, right?
Sure.
Okay. Hello, camera.
What's up?
What's up,
camera? Welcome.
Yep.
Hopefully, if you're just listening and you don't know why we're greeting a device, it's because today is a special episode. It's the first full-length video that we're going to release. Planning to. We'll see. Don't hold us to that.
I don't know.
We'll fucking see.
Yeah, we'll see how
we're not really known for length around here. That is true.
Just girth.
Yeah. It's the first full girth video we're going to release.
No, watch me. What if I did press record?
Then it won't be.
That'd be
Then
very
if you're
funny.
listening to this, don't go to YouTube and look for it.
Yeah.
If you are, though, go
if
to
there's
YouTube
a link,
and look for
just
it.
look for a link. Just look for a link. If it's not there, then
That's right. Something didn't work out.
my bad.
Dustin got real racist on camera. Something happened.
By the way,
Something
Been
happened.
practicing, dude. I'm not going to do that again.
Okay, all right.
welcome back, our first ever guest that we
That's
had on the podcast. We thought it fitting that the first video podcast be have the same guest as the same. Fuck, dude, help me out.
That's
That
right.
sounds pretty gross to me.
The
But
same guest is the same fuck dude, and
Yeah,
we're glad that
good
you're
God.
back. We're glad that you're back.
Welcome back.
That was
let's
very
all just look at the
intentional.
camera while we're talking.
All right,
okay,
let's
guys?
do it.
Right down the barrel.
Yeah, it's really
Actually,
good
let's
to be
just
here.
look at it and don't say anything.
Let's see how long we can do dead air. Yeah.
This
Now,
is a
are
good
you
podcast.
excited to be back with us, Dustin?
I'm as excited as I am about things. Yeah, dude.
That's
Yeah.
for you. That's a lot, and I
This
know what that
place
means.
looks nice. Yeah,
I'm
It's changed
excited
a
as
lot.
I am about things.
Yeah,
I like
digging
that.
the new setup.
That's true. Our show has changed a lot since you were here last.
I got new stairs. Shout out Joey Gray.
Shout out to
former
Joey
guest,
Gray. They're not on
future
camera,
guest.
but just know they look good.
They do.
They
It
look
doesn't
good.
smell like
Sexy
cat
stairs.
piss down here anymore.
Yeah,
so.
Joey Gray, former guest of the show, and also very talented employee. Apparently, very timely man. He did a good job.
Business owner. I don't
Good
think
for him. Yeah,
he
yeah.
employs himself.
Very
No.
good.
Great job, and I just wanted to give him a public shout out because a lot of the same people that we know listen to this podcast.
Yeah.
And I thank
That's
you, Joey, and I can't wait to have you back on the show.
We've had a lot of great guests on this show. We've had
Couple
a lot
bad
of
ones.
guests since the first guest, also, which is with
couple
us
of
today.
bad ones since the first one too.
Well, the good news is our guest today has listened to, I believe, every episode, if not close to it.
Minus Johnny because it's not out yet. No, Johnny's
No, it's
out.
Yeah.
It's out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've listened to all of them. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and so
Big fanboy.
is there anybody that sticks out to you since you were on the show?
Don't do that
I
to
mean,
me, dude.
Yeah,
No.
I need you to burn some.
No, I've
bridges.
enjoyed them all. There's two that sucked really bad, dude. Two of them that I really hated the episode. I'm just kidding.
It's the two
I was
where
like,
we
name
were.
'em.
I know which
No.
it is.
It
It's
was
the two where we
episode-
were solo. Yeah.
What, 10 and 11, or it's just us, or 11 and
We're
12?
just gonna do
or is it
this filler episode like every 10 episodes, guys. Just let you know.
we have not done
How-
it since
how to
then.
Thank God. Let's not do it again.
So I mean, I'm sure we talked about it, but what it was like we had
dropouts.
we had like 3 cancellations on like for one recording day. We had 3 people cancel.
Yeah. So it was either skip a week or try, and we should have skipped a week. is
Yeah,
what
you
I'm
were.
saying.
You texted me like, "You still coming, dude?" Yeah. We planned on it, so.
I always double check. Yeah. Last
Yeah.
last night I text Dustin because unfortunately there's a few who just go, "Oh shit, were we supposed to record today?"
No,
that kind of
I
stuff.
listened to every episode. I've liked them. You know, I mean, most of them. I think I know most everybody that's
Yeah,
been on. And
probably.
it's cool to hear how they talk when I'm not around. You know,
It's
Yeah,
weird that
yeah.
I don't even know every guest that we've had. I've never met what's his name out of Nashville? Clean
Most of
Comic. Clean Comic out of Nashville.
Davis?
Drew Davis.
Yeah.
I've never actually met Drew Davis.
You still haven't too because
Nope.
you weren't there. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
He's
That was a
super
good
cool
one.
guy.
That was a fun one. We've had some
He's
great
real funny.
guests. Dustin, we also had some Knoxville guests on, and you and I were talking right before we started recording about that. You and I, and we touched on this in the Justin Mays episode. So if you're listening or watching, if you're doing
I
either
hate
one of those things, go check out Justin Mays because we go into detail about it. But you went with me to a show down there at Don't Tell Knoxville, and Sam Talent was the headliner.
It was a
Was
great
that
show.
maybe the best live
Dude,
comedy you've ever seen?
It's been like, I mean, the best live like comedy that wasn't in a theater that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And since
Unbelievable.
I started doing comedy, yeah,
That's a fair distinction.
Unbelievable.
killer. I mean, I saw
Honestly.
In
see
that
Bill
kind of a
Burr
room.
and Dave
Yeah.
Chappelle in a giant theater.
Yeah.
That because
But
it
it's
is
a different kind of
show.
show.
I
It's
went to the Hassan Minaj show. I've talked about it a couple times. It was like a full ass production. Like if you watch his specials on Netflix, that's what I saw in person.
Right.
And like that's a full ass production. But then again, like I've seen comics not with that, and it's like it's not fair to compare.
Yeah, something about the
The two.
intimacy of Don't Tell. I mean, that's what it's
Yeah.
designed for, you know. But literally, we're in a vintage clothing store. Actually, the place where I bought this hat. Shout out to French Fried Vintage in Knoxville. Really cool store. And
I've
so
made fun of
Sam
your
Talent,
hats a lot.
who's
I'm
like probably one of my favorite comics ever. Always was, but definitely now. Was, what? Do you think 3 feet from the front row, Dustin? And on an even field, too. No stage.
And he actually walked around the crowd at one point. Yeah.
Just to make people uncomfortable. He would walk towards the back row and be like, "You don't like it when I'm standing here, do you?"
Would you say that? Would you say that Sam Talent has a lot of talent?
So, anyways, it was a good show that we.
I think it's only fair if I give it to myself.
It's bad when you give it to yourself.
I think it's only fair I give it to myself. Honestly, like
dude, Shane Torres though.
Shane
he
Torres
murdered.
Shout out to Shane Torres.
Does Shane Torres go on tour?
No. I think Justin talked about it in the episode.
Yeah, a little
bit.
No, I knew those were bad. I just want people to know I didn't think those were funny.
One of our very funny friends was hosting that show and is very talented. And Justin told this person that he respects him and him only enough to host in a situation like this. He was like, "I trust you. You got this." And he brought the comedian up to the wrong name. So that's why he said Shane Torres.
Yeah, and we got to just keep bringing it up and give him shit about it. It was very funny. And Sam Talent just went with it for a while. Yeah.
For probably 45 minutes, he just roasted on how he is 5'3" Latino comedian Shane Torres. And he's clearly not. He's clearly a giant white dude. Very
so comfortable,
funny.
dude. That was the most comfortable comedian I've ever seen on stage.
Yeah.
Just crowd work and just like, I mean, he did some bits, but you couldn't tell whenever he was going into a bit and whenever he was just riffing. Yeah.
Dude. Until I watched his special, I didn't think he did any bits. I didn't think he did any material. And then I watched his special and I was like, oh, there's 2.
Yeah.
Fucking 2, maybe 3 minutes out of an hour and a half show that he did. But everything else was just on the fly. And he got, I mean, it's like you were saying with crowd work, it's as if I've never seen somebody do crowd work. It was unbelievable. Really? He had the entire room of comics, like in the back. There was me, JoJo, Justin, all the Knoxville crew that's been on the show, Jared Hazen, who's good personal friends with Sam, all of us on the floor laughing the entire time. I couldn't even catch my breath. I felt like I got in a car wreck the next day. I was sore for 2 days. Yeah. It was incredible. It was really great.
It's a good lineup, too.
Yeah, it was great. And so Dustin got to be there with me at that show. And then, Dustin, you and I recently did a show at the club. Sean was out of town, and there wasn't a headliner or anything like that. It was kind of like a locals only.
Yeah, like a showcase.
Yeah. Showcase. Yeah.
That's one where you
that I wasn't invited to, Sean. Anyway, go ahead.
It was Meredith. But yeah.
Meredith.
Former guest of the show as well. And the lineup was really cool. But Dustin, I saw you have, I don't know if I would say it's the best set I've ever seen you have. I'll say it was the most comfortable set I've ever seen you have, for sure. You were loose up there. I mean, you were playing around, you're having fun. And you did a lot of time, too.
Yeah, I did one of the longest hits I've done. It was like 17 minutes or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was great, man. It was one of my favorite sets, and then I've eaten shit like 3 times since then. I went up like a week or 2 ago, and Andy Sanford came, and I got to do time before him. And after the first show, Sean was like, "How do you think you did?" And I was like, no, it wasn't great."
That's never good when he's like, "How do you think it went?" Yeah,
I'm not at that level now where I can consistently have killer sets. I'll have a great set, and then I'm like, my head gets a little big, my ego starts to inflate a little bit, and then I just eat it a couple times.
I think comedy almost feels like a entity to me sometimes in a weird way. Like it feels like it has a life, because it definitely sweeps the leg every time you think like, oh, I'm making progress, I'm moving up, and then you eat shit for 3 months straight and want to kill yourself.
I'm due for a eat shit spell because I took an accidental couple of weeks break. Not even an accidental break. Like I got snowed out. I couldn't go to the club one week. I had some family stuff come up week. I couldn't go.
Yeah.
And
I haven't been in a while.
In this order, I had family stuff, snow, family stuff. So I have not told a joke on a stage.
Snow sandwich.
In 3, yeah. I've not told a joke on a stage in 3 weeks, and I am ready to just eat it.
Wouldn't that be something if you just had the set of your life?
I don't know, Mike. That'd be cool.
So honestly, back, dude.
It could happen. Like
it
weirder
might.
things have happened.
I will say. You know that joke I've been working on for that online dating joke. Remind me to tell you,
Tinder.
I have a new tag for that. I have a real tag that just happened. That's going to take that joke to another level.
So if you're hearing this, come check us out at the open mic and hear how that didn't pan out for
Yeah.
Ryan.
Well,
just enjoy the mystery.
I'm working on it. Listen, I'm working it out. Okay.
Yeah. We'll see.
But
dude, sometimes you come back and you're like, you're not in your head. You're just kind of loose.
Yeah. You're just kind of
and you have a good
fucking
set.
with it. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like when Travis and I drove down to Roast Battle together, which we'll talk about in a second. But we spent a lot of time talking, and that's one of the things that he and I both related on, is that like the second that you start not really caring as much seems to be
the best.
But it's so hard to get to that space where like you have nothing to lose. Like that show we were talking about, Dustin, I went on after you, and you had done so much time and crushed, where I was like, oh, well, then they've had their fun. Like the audience has enjoyed it. So if I just suck, at least they got their money's worth. Like Dustin it's a lot less pressure, you know. And
what a weird mindset.
That was really
I like it though.
So that was the first show, maybe ever at Blue Ridge, where I've closed the show, and I like it. I was very honored to do that. Meredith asked me to do that, and I did a lot of time, and I was happy with it. I had a good set, but it's a lot of pressure, and I kind of thought about like bigger name comics that I've heard on other podcasts and stuff, or even Sean and I have talked about like the pressure of headlining. Like I know when we were at the roast battle in Knoxville, Sean got offered this gig out of town, and it's a feature spot. And at first, I couldn't tell if he was like insulted by the fact that somebody asked him to feature, and then very quickly he was like, "Dude, I will feature every night of the week. It's the best because you go up and then you come off, and then you get to do whatever, and the headliner has all the pressure." And I think that's true. That's something that, like, obviously, you haven't headlined in your own show.
Dude, no way. No.
So none of the three of us have been there quite yet.
I'm hoping by next year I'll have 30, 45,
sure.
maybe.
Yeah, that's
another year.
That's kind of
my goal's 30 by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Like a tight 30, not. I could go up there and talk for 30 minutes, but it's tight.
It's tough. It's a lot of time. I think a lot of the guests that we've had on, though, have headlined. Like, Jared headlined a show for me.
Yeah.
Show for you.
Yeah, the show that all three of us were on.
Yeah.
Was that before? That was before we recorded. That was after, I'm sorry, that you were on the show,
We talked
wasn't
about it on the show, though.
I know, but he was on that show, too.
Yeah. Do you remember that, Dustin? Do you remember
where
that?
are we?
That show.
Yeah, I remember, dude.
No,
I was there.
There's something I want to bring up that you did.
You know my name?
So it was that show at Kaifa event venue. It was me, you, Nathaniel, Sean Bagley, and Jared.
Yep.
And you fucking went to like the art supply store before the show.
Yeah.
And you made a sign, and because it's like on a busy road, and he just went out there like
I have a picture of it. I'll post it on the video.
Yeah, dude.
Just trying to get. I'm just trying to get somebody.
You got one person.
Yeah.
Did he really?
He got one person.
Oh, I didn't realize
there was one person that came in.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
That was the only person in the audience I didn't know.
There was one person that came in and felt too bad to leave for us. Yeah.
There was it was a decent crowd. I think you knew a lot of the people.
I knew every single person but the person you got to come back. Yeah.
Because there were a couple of jokes you told, and then you were like, I don't know. You had some you had a lot of jokes about like
my child.
Yeah.
About family.
My family.
Yeah, you're telling it to your in-laws, right?
My wife's grandpa was in there.
Oh, I think it was well received, but I think it was a little bit awkward.
My wife's grandpa, some people that like coworkers of mine were there, also are coworkers of my wife. It was weird.
Terrible.
I thought it was a good show. Like, I enjoyed it.
It was fun.
It was fun.
It was different. It was very different. I mean, it's kind of like we were talking about. I feel like that show for us is what French Fried Vintage was for Sam Talent. Like, just no stakes, just go in there and fuck around. Like, smaller crowd than what he's used to at the time, even though it was, like 120 people crammed into this tiny-ass little clothing store. It was great.
My favorite show I've done came out of because I had a stretch of like 4 shows in like 5 days.
Yeah.
And my favorite show I did come out of that stretch was whenever me, you, and Travis went to Radford.
Oh, yeah.
That was a fun
Did you guys do Sharky's? Like upstairs?
Yeah, Sharky's.
It's like an arcade. They're building an arcade over top of a restaurant, so it's a lot of college kids.
I didn't know they were really building an arcade up there. Yeah. No, that was fun. That was I don't know. We've talked about all this, but that was just such a fun
That was a good memory.
Show and
anytime you're traveling with a group of comics, that's what too. Like if you're listening to this or watching, if you're doing either one of those and you're not a comic, or like maybe you've never done stand up, you're thinking about it, something like that, or you've done it a couple times but you're not traveling yet. I will say that for me, the hang has always been the goal, but the traveling hang, like going back and forth to Knoxville with Travis, was more fun than the show itself. Just because. Well, for one, he gets to confirm all of my suspicions about everybody in the club, and we get to gossip the whole time. But the coolest part is like Dustin and I, same thing. Like when we drove to Knoxville, I feel like you get to see a different side of a person when you're trapped alone with them in the car. And Dustin's very racist when you're alone with them. It's crazy. But
we were gonna ride together to a show in Knoxville. We had a show together at Allie Ray's one time. I don't remember why we didn't ride together. We were going to.
Yeah, something came up for Dustin.
He was like, "I've heard you're racist, Dustin." So.
Yeah. Nathaniel gave me a heads up. He's like, "Dustin's gonna pull out his phone and try to get you canceled." So
worth it though. It's fun. Yeah. It's fun.
No.
That hang is super fun. But you were mentioning.
Just by the way, racism is the idea is funny because racism is stupid. Mm-hmm. I'm not racist.
Sure.
Okay. Anyway.
Yeah. Covered his ass real quick.
Yeah, he knows what a soundbite
is. Race is a social construct.
Don't worry, there'll be a beep some point in this podcast, and that's Dustin saying a word he's not supposed to say.
Right.
Yeah.
We will beep it out.
I almost just want to leave the silence in right there. Like that's
it's almost worse if you just don't bleep that. Yeah. That's fucking embarrassing.
That was very funny.
It was fun riding down. Yeah, I mean that's cool. Like I'm not super social with the club and stuff. And it's cool. Like trapped in a car with somebody for a while. We went down to Pigeon Forge to a comedy competition. Me, Nathaniel, Travis Stevenson, Phil Taylor, and we were all just in a car. We had to talk for like 4 hours.
Well, some of us.
Yeah, on the way back. On the way back, I was exhausted from all the social interaction. You guys were still going. You and Travis were still like, yeah, man, and I was just like, oh my gosh.
That show coming back from Radford, Travis talked the entire 2.5 hour drive.
Good, because you were focused.
I was hyper focused. I needed it. It was I didn't even react to that thing I showed yesterday, motherfucker. Anyway,
I saw it.
No, it was like a monsoon outside, and I could not see the road. And I was
nice.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, me and Travis are like, you remember that one Bernie Mac bit where? Yeah. No, it was good. The competition was fun too. I think that hang is super fun. But I mean, Dustin, outside of that, like you mentioned, you're not a super social guy at the club, anyways. But as far as stage time right now, I mean, how do you feel about? Obviously, since you were on the last time, things have changed a lot.
Yeah, that was like 6 months ago, wasn't it?
Yeah. Give or take, maybe a little more.
I've had a couple of little breakthroughs, but also like we talk about all the time about how writing is like a trough and then a big swell, and I'm hitting a dry spot right now, but I'm trying to punch up old stuff still. But I've got like maybe 20 minutes.
I think
I've got 15 minutes that I love.
Yeah,
I'm still trying to punch it up, but I've got 20 that's bits that work that I just stopped doing because I like the new stuff better. And I was only getting 5 or 10 minute spots. I'm trying to feature now. I just started emailing a bunch of clubs.
Really?
Got my website like redone.
Oh, do you really?
I saw it. Yeah.
And I've sent like sent booking emails to like a dozen clubs. Like between here and Florida, just trying to get booked. Trying to
Michael's
get some
got his laptop. He's
going
to start sending emails right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna get on.
Hey,
shows
I'm friends with
you.
Dustin Arron. Yeah.
What's your email?
Yeah,
your email. Fuck
What's
me.
your
website?
Your website.
It's DustinAcomedian.com. It's I got the same handle everywhere.
It's a pretty good one.
Yeah, that'll be linked down below.
There's a comic named Dustin Nickerson though
that popped up
apparently
huge.
Type in Dustin comedian. That guy is apparently very funny and very big. But
yeah.
Anyway,
so buy tickets for Dustin Nicholson. Yeah, he's.
I do like Dustin Nickerson. To be fair,
I don't like the last name.
I'm not
a little nervous.
Needs to change that.
Yeah,
just careful.
Makes me a little nervous. Just be careful. That's right.
But I'm trying to. I think I'm about ready to start featuring.
Why did all this porn pop up whenever I hopped in? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, featuring I think for me has always kind of been the goal. I mean, I actually enjoy hosting, which is a different skill set.
I hate hosting,
for sure.
Dude.
Well, actually, that good segue because I was going to ask you this past week I was in Knoxville at the roast battle, like I said, but you hosted, right? And Sean was out of town too. You hosted. The open mic.
Have you heard about it?
I haven't heard anything about it. I asked Meredith how it went, and she didn't say anything really.
Yeah.
She was talking. She said everybody bombed. Everybody bombed. But that's kind of
still into skateboarding
right now,
or no?
Yeah, dude. But I'm like 30 or 40 pounds too fat to really skateboard.
Sorry,
that's I still got it, dude. I'll still pump on a ramp. You know, play skate every day on the PlayStation.
Okay, sorry.
I'm just glad that there's video now, so that people can see my head turn and go, "What the?" Speaking of
still do like exercise.
Yeah,
he does CrossFit. By the way,
I CrossFit. My daughter's upstairs asleep. What's up, OJ?
Shout out, baby OJ. No, so you do not enjoy the hosting.
I hate hosting, dude. I feel like I'm okay sometimes, but I'm
trying to be all diplomatic.
I'm a planner, dude. I mean, apparently, I was talking to Meredith Kerr. Shout out Meredith Kerr.
Shout out.
And she was talking about how like a lot of people prefer to host. If you're sending out videos, sometimes the bookers want to see videos of you like hosting because they want to see. It's considered like a low stakes spot.
Yeah,
if you're hosting, dude. There's so much pressure.
I hate
for me whenever
too.
I host. Like you gotta get the crowd ready, set the energy. You got to reset if you're doing like a showcase or a mic.
Yeah.
If somebody eats it, you got to try to fix it before you bring the next comic up.
Yeah.
You got to remember everything that you're supposed to tell everybody about the club.
That's
and you
the tough one for me. The announcements part, just the beginning. I'm fine doing my time. I'm fine going up in between. Don't really care. But the announcements, I always forget. Every time I forget something.
I don't bring enough energy to be a good host. That's my problem.
Dude, I fake it. Like, whenever I'm hosting, people are like, I've had a couple hosting gigs where people came up after and they were like, dude, great job hosting.
Yeah.
And all I did was pretend to be very energetic and excited and
That's
happy
what
the whole
everybody's
time.
doing, really, yeah.
Hey, guys, thanks for coming to the blah. You know,
I feel like that would make me uncomfortable, especially if you said thanks for
feel
coming
like
to the blah.
I
and
look
I'd be
like I'm-
we're at a comedy club. Yeah.
It's like, it's Blue Ridge. It's not that hard of a word, man.
Yeah.
What's up?
There's
No.
all these B's and R's.
Yeah.
And my lips get stuck together.
Easy.
So,
yeah.
The hosting though, was a lot of people at the show, or
it was a decent crowd, but I think I made a grave mistake, and I appreciate Sean giving me the opportunity to host. But
what was your grave mistake?
My grave mistake was that I opened up with some dirty material, which you're not supposed to do if you're hosting. And I think there were some people that were right next to the stage that didn't want the dirty stuff. But there was a lot of it coming after me.
I was about to say, yeah, but they just didn't know that yet.
Yeah, I think I kind of lost them before I brought the first comic up because the one guy was like, it's going to be like a dirty open mic.
Listen, if you go to an open mic,
they just don't know.
If you go to an open mic, I mean, you got to expect some dirty.
I think they just don't know. I mean, especially if you've never been to one. And like in a lot of cases, we've said before on the show, the location of the club is right behind a very popular restaurant downtown. And there's a sign out front that just says open mic free, come on in or whatever. So they're maybe leaving dinner, after church or whatever. And then they're like, let's stop by. Because it is on a Wednesday.
Yeah. It is on a Wednesday.
And then they're like, boy, those egg rolls were good. Let's go hear some clean comedy. And that's not what Dustin brought them, apparently. So
I'm probably overthinking it. And I did get people. Everybody's nice. So nobody's like, man, you did a really shitty job tonight.
Nobody will tell you the truth. Yeah.
Some people, like when you said Meredith didn't say anything, that's usually the response you get. If you didn't do well, people are just like,
he did it.
You did time.
Sure
It's kind of all you get.
He did host.
Yeah. But I mean, if you don't enjoy it, also that reads like I've talked about other hosts in the past on the show that some of them are better than others. I think JoJo Casillas may be my favorite host to have on the show. The problem is he's such a monster comic that he's never hosting. Like he's always headlining or whatever. But during the festival, he got the chance to host a couple shows, and he just is so good at exactly what we were saying with the energy. Like he forces the crowd to amp up.
Do you feel like when you host that's all crowd work muscle, whatever that muscle is? I feel like
it's more in that direction. Yeah,
you're
responding to
improv kind of.
Yeah. They don't really give a shit about your material. That's for sure.
They're just responding to the energy that you're bringing. They just want to. I don't know. They like the host to be in the room with them. They're okay with the comic to be doing their own thing, but like they want the host to be there.
Well, the host's job is very different. I think that's another thing Travis and I were talking about on the drive from Knoxville. Like because we were talking about you hosting, and I was like, with hosting, it's less about getting the laugh. It's about setting the bar, setting the expectation for what you're about to see, but not necessarily that, you're going to see a very funny show, just that you're at a show and like almost designing this etiquette, especially for people that have never been to a live show. I mean, I went to one on Friday at the club, which I'd love to talk about later too, because just insanity at the club.
I've heard
this weekend.
Destroyed.
It's unbelievable. But
I saw the 10 o'clock show last night sold out, which is insane.
It's nonsense. But anyways, there was definitely that demographic for this comic. That demographic for this comic is a demographic that's probably never been to a live comedy show, a lot of them. And so it read. It was a very chatty crowd. Sean stood in the back of the room for most of the night, just shushing people.
She's got a huge following online since 2017, at least.
So crazy.
What's like? I can cut if we need to. But what's that demographic like?
Well, yeah. Let's just not say her name, and I'll talk about which people could obviously research the club's event calendar if they cared that much about who I'm talking about. I'll say this: the comedian at the club this weekend had 3 consecutive sellouts, which, to my knowledge, may be the first ever headliner to do so. Definitely the first in a while.
Yeah.
To sell at the 10 p.m. on Saturday. I mean, usually that show is the lowest crowd of the night. Right.
Yeah.
Not always. I mean, sometimes it's a good turnout. Sometimes it's even better than the 8, which is weird.
It's usually like half the size of the 8.
Right.
Yeah.
In this case, not so much. But I was curious. I had heard about this person. I had heard that this comedian was very big on TikTok and also had something on Netflix. And so in my head, there's like a special, and clips of it on TikTok do very well. That's what I thought. Turns out that's not the case. Turns out that this person is like a reaction person on TikTok. So like she reacts to other TikTokers.
I feel like that trend of like, the trend with the guys sitting in the car talking to the camera.
Yeah.
But some of them are funny and they make jokes.
Sure.
I feel like it's kind of like that, but more like skits, I guess.
Right. Well, yeah, it's kind of that way. It's character comedy also.
I mean,
we've talked about on the show, there's like Grampy, our friend Phil Ketchum, shout out to Phil, who does character comedy, and he'll be on eventually to talk about that too. And it's a different thing. They're doing a different thing. But in her case, it's kind of, I don't know if anybody listening knows, like, I think it's Tammy, can't think of her name, Trailer Trash Tammy or whatever. This lady, she's huge. She's fucking huge. Like my grandma, my aunts, they love this lady. And I cannot remember her real name. I know it. Very funny, but it's, again, she's a character. She's like just real redneck, on TikTok and stuff. It's kind of in that lane. But it's a lot of reaction stuff. So like there'll be a video of a guy working out and maybe he's like wearing real thin gym shorts or something. Yeah. And then she'll pop up on a green screen in the lower third and just like, what is this man doing? Like reacting to that video.
They have. I just looked them up. They have 1.3 million followers on TikTok.
Yeah. So if you're listening, you can do the math. You can track it down who we're talking about. And I don't want to be disrespectful because, again, 3 consecutive sellouts, it was truly something to see. Also, I don't think they would mind me saying they're never going to hear this either. But she's been talked about in former episodes also. We had 2 guests talk about their worst bomb was opening for her, and I think I understand why.
I feel like the crowd is just different from the... I mean,
it's a different crowd.
It's just a different sport almost.
When I got there, me and Rain were there for the whole show, and Jared Hazen got there a little later. We kind of stood in the back, and we were kind of being haters at first, but then eventually it was just like, there's something we don't know here. There's something for sure that I don't understand. I mean, the comedy itself... Take it or leave it. It's obviously appealing to somebody, a lot of people, 300 people over 2 days, apparently. Not for me, necessarily. But she moved merch unlike anybody I have ever seen. This comedian.
The comedian. Mm-hmm. The Netflix thing they're on was
The Circle.
Yeah.
Right.
It was The Circle.
Yeah. So at this point, we're just doing everything except her name. But I thought that it was a special. It's not. It's like it's a reality.
It's a reality.
TV.
It's like a dating show, I think.
Right. So not at all what I expected going in, and I was blown away. But they showed up with 4 totes of merch on a dolly, and I was watching people go to the bathroom in the middle of the show and come back with a fucking T-shirt.
Yeah, dude, I'm gonna think about it like I mean, maybe it's not a good analogy, but it's just like I said, it's kind of a different sport. Like I think what I'm trying to do is more like sounds so pretentious, but more like jazz, I guess, or more like
I agree
that would be the goal. Like whenever I see Travis Stevenson go up and work the crowd, that seems like he's doing like comedy jazz to me. Almost. Right. What she's doing is she has like a hit album and people love that album.
Right.
And they want to see her come and do that album, you know?
Well,
like Seinfeld just does the same thing over and over. Real quick, The Circle, it's not a dating show. It's that social media show where people were like just trying to like manipulate the other people on the show.
Oh, right, like influencers and stuff. Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah, weird show. But so she had a feature also who was very nice. This guy was very nice. He had a great set. I mean, he did a lot of time and he crushed, I would say, about as hard as she did, to be honest. But her fan base apparently is very drawn for her. They're there for her. So she has told other comics in the past that I know personally that, you know, a lot of locals or townies and stuff don't do that well ahead of her, which would explain why 2 of our former guests cited that as their worst bomb opening for her, because that crowd's there for her. But like I was saying at the beginning of this, like her crowd is probably not there for comedy necessarily. They're there for her. Yeah. And they've never been to a comedy show. A lot of them. Yeah. The demographic was very, very rural for sure. But also like, it was,
I don't know why that was funny.
The
demographic was pretty low income if you're picking up what I'm throwing down.
They've used DBT in the past, and I think that Rain and I basically said, I think that she is Grundy, Virginia's Matt Rife. Okay. That's what we think.
She's from South Carolina, so whatever.
Yeah, but you know who came to the show. Yeah. You know, they drove a couple hours to get there, if you know what I'm saying.
Dude, giant pool. Giant pool. She found her audience, and she comes by.
That's the thing too. Like, obviously, I'm kind of poking fun at this comic or at the situation, but at the end of the day,
you still respect
what the
her.
fuck am I talking?
Yeah, I mean, you still respect her. She's moving.
I'm not moving. Nothing, you know.
I feel like it's maybe we're coming from the same place. I didn't go see her because it sold out. I wanted to give somebody who's really stoked about it the opportunity to get those seats. Sure. But I feel like we're coming from the same place where like it's just not what we normally do there, and it's just interesting because you're like, man, this is. Look at this crowd. It's just
none of those people will be back for another headliner for sure. Like, and I told Brain too. I said, do you know how many late night credits I've seen on this stage for crowds half this size? Like, it just the power of TikTok, I think, is what I'm getting at. That she has
just mainstream media
fallen in this lane, right? And Netflix too, where it's I don't know. It was fascinating to see. I really wanted to go just for that reason, just to see what's up. And Rain and I were kind of just sitting there taking mental notes the whole time. And also, I mean, the stage presence was insane. The crowd work, it was mostly crowd work. The material I saw, I had to dip out early, but mostly crowd work. And they loved it. I mean, obviously, they're there for that kind of, like, they're there for her, so they want to be picked on. They want to be talked to. And it was a rowdy crowd, man, on Friday. I don't know what last night was like, but it was fun. It was really wild.
Yeah, that makes sense. You know, TikTok. Yeah. There are stand-up comedy fans who were comedy fans before, like TikTok and Reels and all that, and then there are stand-up comedy fans who were fans after TikTok, after Reels.
Yeah. Well, the art form too. I think that's what you're saying, Dustin. Like it's kind of. I don't know. I'm sure there's a good comparison bands-wise. I'm not a musician, so I love music, but I don't want to necessarily dive into that. But I think what you're saying about jazz is a good analogy in that, like, a lot of people don't appreciate it, but there's obviously a lot of skill involved. And then there's also other forms of music where there's less skill involved, but tons of fucking people appreciate it, and it's unbelievably popular. I mean, I think that's
I wouldn't say it's necessarily analogy. Less amount of skill. It's different. It's a different skill because, like, I can't crowd work.
I can't either, and it's like I'm more of what I'm doing is like I write the material and I test it out and tweak it. And like somebody who's really good. I don't mean to keep like kissing his ass, but Travis, somebody who's really good with crowd work. They just they're working. They're doing a different thing up there. They're reading the room and reacting, which ultimately that's my goal. Like this year, I want to be able to. I mean, it's really important. It's very important to know how to read the room and how to adjust your set accordingly. And I can adjust my energy a little bit now, and I can adjust some of the jokes. If something's dirtier or darker. And I do a dark joke, and the crowd is like, I'll not do the joke about the other dead thing. Because they don't like the dark stuff.
Well, there's so many moving parts to like putting together a set too. That's what Travis and I were talking about on the drive back too. Like, act outs, the energy, the writing. There's so callbacks. There's so many devices and different things to use. But Dustin, I feel like as a person who's been around since we talked about it on your first episode, so go back and listen.
I just talked about the same 5 things,
right? You started a little bit before me, so I've got to see you grow as a comic, obviously, in the 2 years that we've both been doing it now, give or take. But you're a little bit ahead of me too, so it's kind of interesting. I feel like I can just look slightly ahead and see what's up next for me and kind of stuff like that. But with the crowd work thing, like with Travis, I feel like you have the writing. You have the material, the jokes. And so that makes sense to me when you say, now I want to try to reach into that crowd work lane or like being a little more loose. Because I feel like I'm not saying you've mastered joke writing, obviously.
Get a little better out of that.
Right. I feel like you understand that. Do you think that's the writing side is easier? It's just more natural for you than the crowd work stuff?
Dude, I think what happens maybe with almost everything, like as I get further into it, I'm starting to see areas that need to be improved or addressed. Initially it was like, let's write a funny joke and make it relatable so the crowd will laugh. But now I'm like getting to the point where I'm like, I hate it, but I'm realizing like so much of the performance isn't the joke. It's about like how you tell the joke.
Yeah.
And
it really is. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think, what was the question, dude?
I don't even remember what the question
was. I don't know if there was one, honestly.
No, like, I mean, that's something I think I'm a little bit better at is like the writing, but maybe I like overanalyze and stuff because I'll send jokes to people. They'll be like, that doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, no, if you apply the rules of joke writing to this, you'll see that. Yeah. Now, we were driving down to Knoxville and we were analyzing jokes, talking about like what we thought made them funny to us. And I don't think a lot of people do that because I think it's more about just the feel.
Right. It was pretty cool to be in a car with another schizophrenic and get to go that deep on stuff. That was fun.
Do you normally think that,
people get freaked out by me breaking down words like that.
Yeah, I loved it, dude.
Yeah.
Tangent, like pull the steering wheel for a second. Do you guys think that like social media and like reels and stuff like that is pushing comedy more towards like high energy?
Yes.
Yeah, because I don't see a lot of like low energy deadpan comedy. Like I feel like whenever I was growing up, there were a lot of like Stephen Wright style comics.
Right.
And I don't know. I mean, I know of like 1 or 2 that are kind of big now that have that level of energy. Like you and me are both kind of low energy comics. And I don't know who I can look to for like whether I'm doing it right or not because there are not a lot of huge.
You have to like the reason like the ones on TikTok and all that is like blowing up the high energy ones is because like I think of how short our attention spans are when we're watching TikTok.
Right.
That's
a great point.
If I go in there and I'm like,
specials don't do good.
It's like I have a 9-month. It's like whenever I set up like my daughter jokes, like how slow am I? How low energy is that? Right. I don't have a punch yet. But whenever you have like Matt Rife or anybody who's just like yelling, right? That just grabs your attention, so you'll sit through it.
Well, to the attention span point that you made too, which I think is a great point. I think like a special now, it's interesting because I know people. I have a coworker who recently, funny enough, she discovered Shane Gillis, which is great. Dope. I mean, obviously, I think she's a little behind the curve, but we're way ahead of the curve also.
I do want to say real quick, I have not watched the Shane Gillis special yet, and the only reason I haven't is because my Netflix is fucked up right now.
It's incredible. It's
so good. I don't feel like paying.
And he's a good guy, and he doesn't pirate things. So
I don't.
Well,
I don't know how to.
I saw him take over a ship once. But anyways, we got to talking about Shane Gillis. And stupid. Don't laugh at that. It's stupid. We got to talking about Shane Gillis at work, and she was like, I like this guy's really funny.
The dumbest fucking thing you ever said. Go ahead.
She had referenced a couple of clips that she saw that I know are from his first special. So I sent her a link to his entire special, the first one. It's on YouTube. It's free to watch. It's a click of a button at this point for her. She still has not watched it. However, every week I will bump into her, and she will tell me another bit from that special that she heard in a clip on TikTok. And I think that is exactly what you're saying. Like, she will watch that 1 hour in 30-second pieces over 3 weeks, but she will not sit down and press play.
Yeah.
And I think that's most people now. I mean, obviously, like I said, I think we're a little ahead of the curve. It's more on my radar a lot quicker. Like specials and stuff, I'm counting the days, you know. And if you're just kind of a casual comedy fan, that's not you. And that's fine. Yeah. But that attention span thing is interesting. And I see it at live shows, too. I mean, Dustin, you can even, I'm sure you can speak to this, like some of the headliners we've had where you'll see the lulls, and I can see it not really computing sometimes for headliners. Where they're like, why? This kills in another city, or, you know, something like that.
It's so weird, especially when it's somebody that, like, I've seen people come through that I love, that are great writers, that one of my favorite, you know, working comics will come through, and you'll see that lull, and it's like they're like, you know, like, I don't know how to adjust because this is the energy I've got, and this is
here's a theory I have too. I don't know if I've ever said this on the show. Forgive me if I have. But Michael, see if you can back me up on this too.
Yeah.
What you're saying about, you know, high energy comics, Dustin, and like, is TikTok and all that pushing it? I think it is. I think it certainly is. But I think it's almost a chicken or the egg thing, because if you look back at, like, let's say Lenny Bruce, for instance, who, like, a lot of people would argue that's the first to do what we're doing as far as like modern stand up.
Heroin. Oh, okay, yeah.
Well, that too, and he's not the first, but a good example. Good stuff. I think that I don't know if you categorize him as low energy. It's a different thing. It's the origin of what we're now doing, and we've seen it evolve. I think I would probably, for comparison's sake, leap from him about 20 years in the future to Sam Kinison and look at that comparison.
Yeah, right.
There's no Sam Kinison in 1955. There's just not. You wouldn't be anything. People would think you're insane. It's culture too. Whereas, like, Lenny Bruce embraced it. So now I think our culture is so chaotic, is so vibrant, is so, like, in your face and high energy, that comedy's matching that in a way, you know?
Yeah.
And to your point too, like with Stephen Wright, I mean, at the time when Stephen Wright is really popping off, it's, the world's always been crazy, but it's not like today where, like, you have to shout to get somebody's attention. You know, he got attention because he's witty and crafty and dry, and that's I don't see anybody really doing that.
I know I'm just picking names that fit what I'm saying, but like Mitch Hedberg, not a high energy comic.
Right.
Dimitri Martin was huge.
God,
whenever I was getting into comic, not a high energy comic.
Yeah.
You know?
But they
or
were
you
like
have Dane on the flip side. Like,
he was the highest.
Perfect
energy.
example. Yeah,
but then again, he made it big because of social media.
Right. I think that, which is exactly what Dustin said. I think they go hand in hand. Yeah. And to be fair, I don't know that I want my algorithm to be all snarky, dry,
I do.
slow-paced comics. I mean, I have that for sure, but I don't know if I want that all day. I need something that grabs me, you know? And especially somebody who's never done stand-up, who just enjoys it casually, they need something.
So I think the thing is like, if you're everyone is a fan of, every single person in this world is a fan of stand-up comedy. Let me just preface this with that.
There are people that don't like music, dude. I don't think that's a true statement.
Everybody likes to laugh. That's my point.
Everybody likes to laugh, but I don't know if they like stand-up.
Well, the thing is,
some people like improv, and I don't fucking understand that.
Oh, I have an improv story for you. Anyway, and not everybody's a fan of stand-up comedy. Everyone likes to laugh, whatever. But like the people who are like fans of stand-up comedy, like the three of us, or all the comics we've had on the show, anyone who's doing stand-up comedy, they're more likely to like the drier, wittier.
Yeah. Well, there's that phrase, comic.
But it's not even fair to say all of that. But it's like, you ask a comic who, like, I fucking love Daniel Tosh.
Yeah, shout out to Travis for ruining that show.
Everybody, yeah. But like, Daniel Tosh is a good one, but he's just really dark, really witty. That's, I like him.
Yeah.
A lot of people like him. But if somebody's just like, I like stand-up comedy, but they're not like really in the world, they do like those attention-grabbing comics, and there's nothing wrong with that. Some people, that's just their style, and they're still funny, and I can still respect them. But like,
I think it's art as a whole too. Kind of your music reference, Dustin. I mean, there's people who just listen to what's on pop radio right now.
Yeah,
it's probably a lot of it. Probably is because we're where we've seen like behind the curtain.
Exactly. Yeah.
If you're a chef and you work in a restaurant, you know, it's not the same thing whenever you experience food as it is when somebody just goes and has a burger and they're like, man, it's so juicy. It tastes good. There's lots of cheese, you know?
Yeah.
Some people just want cheese and bacon because they don't know how to
They
make
don't-
burgers,
yeah.
but they know that cheese bacon burgers are freaking
Good.
delicious.
That's a good. That's good. Like,
well, I think food's an art form too. I think it's any art form. You've got such a spectrum of people consuming it.
everyone can enjoy it, but
Yeah.
then there's people who are like really invested in it who like enjoy.
Some people want a Wagyu burger. Some people are fine with a McDouble.
I really appreciate how I can see comedy differently now, but also like I was talking to Travis a week or two ago being all depressed. I mean, it kind of sucks that the magic has been taken away a little bit from comedy now, because whenever I hear good comedy, I'm like, usually, unless it just completely takes me out of it, I'm usually trying to kind of analyze it and figure out what's funny, how do they come up with it. I'm listening to the premise and how it's going to work out instead of just listening to the funny joke, you know.
Yeah.
But it sucks. It's like that with anything.
But it makes me appreciate it more. It
Like
makes
we
me,
do that.
in a different way. I'm sure it's like
I was watching a Preacher Lawson special the other day.
Mhm.
I didn't finish it because my baby needed stuff. Anyway,
OJ.
but and dude, I'm sitting here watching it. I'm like, how do I get to this level? Now he's a very high
don't.
energy. He's very high energy. Do you know who Preacher Lawson is? Okay.
He's blowing up. Like he must be. I think he's got like sponsored ads or sponsored clips all the time in my Insta. And
He's
Facebook.
doing it right,
Dude,
Yeah.
I mean, he's the most high energy, but he's not just high energy. He's very clever, very good at callbacks, very good at all this. And I'm just like, while I'm laughing at it, I'm like breaking down. Like I'm trying to predict his punchlines more than I feel like I've ever done in my life. Like before.
He sits
getting
in
this
silence a lot. Too. Like
Yeah,
he
dude.
lets
That's
it
tough.
breathe,
He's
you know?
comfortable.
As people who've been on stage, I think we can all agree that's hard.
It is tough.
That's harder than a crowd member, non-comic would understand.
Dude, have you intentionally gone into a set now, like trying to let it breathe? Because I've started doing that recently.
Yeah,
It
Prove
sucks.
it.
But dude, whenever it
Sucks.
works, like you can feel the crowd waiting. If you you have a good hit on a
Hanging
punchline.
on it, yeah.
Yeah, Pruitt the other night, even at the open mic, like he was telling a story that was a pretty new story, hadn't heard, and the crowd was just just waiting for the next word. It's he's a good storyteller,
He's a
but
master.
Pruitt told me actually, I think the last time I actually went to the open mic.
That you suck.
Yes, he tells me that. He texts me
Yeah.
that every morning when I wake before. Like he wakes up before me, and every morning I wake up to, hey, you fucking suck. No.
Yeah.
I got off. I may have already talked about this on this show, but he told me I need to sit in it a little bit longer. Like I just need to I need to quit.
It's hard.
And like sometimes I'll say like I'll have a darker punchline, and like it takes a second for the laugh to hit, but I get scared and I bail and I go into my next joke.
You
and
also
I step on.
apologize for going dark a lot from stage. Like you'll go dark and then you go, no, I'm sorry, I'm kidding, I'm joking. Like you feel bad for it. I think that's what Pruitt's saying too. Is like just too late. You've already said it.
I do go like I'm.
You've
sorry.
already said it. You got to commit to it. Yeah,
I
that's
apologize
hard.
if I do a bad joke. Like I have a really stupid dad joke in the middle of one of my jokes, and
That's
I'll
fine.
just say it. And
That's
I'm like,
fine,
I'm sorry, guys. And anyway, I wanted to talk to you guys about improv real quick. So reason we recorded on a different day. We recorded with Pruitt on a different day. We drank. We had a fun time. Was because I went to see a improv comic. I went to see Ben Schwartz last Saturday. In Charlotte, and that was the first time I've ever been to an improv show. I've never been to a small improv show. I've never been to a long.
Never go to one.
Never done it.
Never ever go to one ever.
10 out of 10, man.
I'm dying on this hill. I don't care.
Dude, you don't like improv?
No.
Why?
We've had improv guests on the show. We've had Mac on the show. Great dude. I'm sure he's hilarious. I'm not going.
Why?
It's not for me.
What? But why?
It's just not for me.
You ever
It's
done it?
fucking uncomfortable. I just want to get up and leave as soon as they start.
Why?
Somebody give us a place and a time. No.
Okay, I need
sir.
I
I'm
need you
leaving.
to watch. It's called. I looked it up too. It's like Schwartz, Hammer Edition Schwartz or something on Netflix. It's like 30-minute episodes. You
I'm
need to watch
familiar.
that. You need to watch it.
No.
He has an improv show on Netflix.
It's like it's just a
I wonder if
special.
it's true improv.
It's
or
a
if
special.
Yeah.
It's like a special. Tim and the Verizon guy, and they just improv for 30,
Is it
40
Middle
minutes.
Ditch? Is that the one?
Middle Ditch.
Yeah.
And Schwartz.
Yep.
Thank you.
I'm out.
Anyway, it's super good. But I saw Ben Schwartz and 3 other very funny improvisers last weekend.
I'm sure they were. I'm sure it was great. Not for me.
I'd just be so stressed taking if I went to an improv show by myself, maybe. If I went with anybody, I'd feel so worried.
No shot.
I'd be like, I hope that it works. Like, I hope that they come up with funny stuff tonight, babe.
Dude, I
really
will
taking
say,
a chance.
So it was an hour. They performed for right around an hour, and out of the hour, I would say maybe like 2-3 things didn't land. and like everything else in that hour hit very well.
Dude, if they're improv specialists, like if that's what they do.
Yeah.
I mean, like Whose Line Is It Anyway is a very funny show.
Dude, I mean, like if it was a full fucking hour
Never
of them
liked
bombing, I will say the hardest I've ever laughed in a show did come out of that show.
Never liked it.
Yeah, he took a 50-pound pack up this hill and he is dying.
Dude,
I swear to God, I never
he
once
won't
have
even
laughed
give it
at
a
that
shot.
show. I'm not even just being a hater. I'm genuine.
You were all about improv when Mac was on. Were you faking it?
I was faking it for
You
him.
were faking it. Okay.
Don't enjoy it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's definitely a lane, and obviously people enjoy it. And I know also that people are very good at it. Compared to the ones that I have seen. And
He's jealous.
The thing is always, oh, you never seen live improv. No, I have. I've been to a good one. I've been to a bad. I understand the difference.
Did you laugh at it?
Not really. It's just whatever that is, whatever that appeals to in your sense of humor, I just don't have it. I don't know what it is.
So he doesn't like, I don't think he likes to laugh.
It's
That's not
definitely
it.
different. Yeah, it's
It
definitely
is different.
It's
I
just
know.
different. Yeah.
I'm giving you shit. It is different.
But you did go to a pretty good.
Yeah, I'm
improv
not saying
show.
I went
Yeah.
to some like, fucking, high school improv troops
Well,
like first time performing and like it
Here's
was the
other
greatest thing
too.
ever.
If
Like,
I had
no.
gone to that, if I had gone to Middle Ditch and Schwartz, I'm sure I would have had a
It
great
wasn't
time.
Middle Ditch. It was just Schwartz.
Okay,
and
just
like
Schwartz.
three others.
No Middle Ditch.
There was like three other people
Yeah.
on the show.
They ditched him. So if I would have gone to that, I would have had a great time. I'm sure I would have
Yeah.
laughed. I would have enjoyed it. But under no circumstance would I have bought a ticket and driven to Charlotte, North Carolina for that. Zero. There's not a chance. If it was in Bristol, I wouldn't go. It's just not for me. It doesn't draw me
Crazy.
in. I don't know why. It's just not for me.
Crazy.
It never is.
I love it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I have seen. That was the first ever improv show I've seen in person, and I've seen. I'll give you credit. Like I've seen like clips of improv that I'm like.
Did you guys go to
Never but-
the Mentalist magician or
No.
commonly?
Did you go?
Comedy Mentalist show? Yeah, yeah.
Will you talk about that?
It
Because
was,
I haven't heard
Were
anybody.
they on
It
America's
was
Got
wild.
Talent, or am I crazy?
Yeah, he was. I haven't seen him. I don't watch the show, but my
What's his
grandma
name?
was like,
I can't
"Oh, I've
remember.
seen that dude on TV." Same thing, dude. It was packed out.
Really?
And I think it's because this is a guy that's been on TV. You know, you don't have to be like deep in comedy to know who this dude is.
Yeah.
You just got to watch ABC or CBS or whatever on
Yeah.
Saturday. nights.
You have to watch America's Got Talent, which everyone fucking
Everyone
watches.
does.
It was
Yeah.
sold out. There were
I
no
had
seats
more
except
people ask me for tickets to that
Oh,
than
yeah?
I've ever had before, until this TikTok comedian had
Who
a few.
opened on that? Was it like
I
local
think-
comedians, or did he bring people?
I think Sean just did like
Yeah, I
a
think
little
so.
bit, and then it was just his show. He
Yeah,
did
I was
like an
gonna
hour
say
and a half.
like.
That's a different.
He just
thing
kind of
too,
warmed the
though.
crowd up, did the hosting, and then handed it off. But
That's
Yeah.
closer to like a magic show, though.
yeah,
right?
well, it was just straight up magic with a little bit
It's
of
kind of a small
comedy sprinkled
stage
in.
for like. I feel like a magician. Like the
Yeah.
the
And
the
it was
Blu-ray-
mentalism too, so it was all just like
Yeah.
guessing numbers, guessing what you're thinking.
It's a small
all
stage.
that.
He had to saw her into thirds too because it's not very big. So, all right.
Yeah, it was.
I
Crazy.
don't
It was
understand
really,
what you
really
just
enjoyable.
said. Should I do? Is it worth you
Stupid.
explaining it
It's
or
not
no?
even
Okay.
close. Not
See,
even
magicians have this trick where
I get that. I
They
get.
saw a lady in half. I said it's a small stage. You had to saw her into thirds. All right.
Yeah.
Moving on.
It was cool. Though. Yeah.
I'm glad that this is documented on video this week. You can't do that just because you didn't get it. That's not how that
It
works.
wasn't funny, dude.
Dustin smiled.
It's gonna be so much harder to cut
Nervous smile.
shitty stuff out.
Oh,
when
I'll
it's on
cut
video.
it. That's coming
There's-
out.
Yeah, I don't know. There's nothing we've got to cut except for you just kept saying the N word for 5 minutes.
Yeah,
Let's
dude.
leave it in.
Yeah.
Well, cut it. Yeah.
Let's leave it
That
in.
was all at the beginning anyway. You can just start from after that.
Right. We'll lead in. Yeah.
Welcome to the Talkin Bits podcast.
Thanks for having me,
So
guys.
the mental
Our first
thing
return
is-
guest. Not even our first
Stop
return
it.
guest. I'm
Dude,
sorry.
I spent like probably a good 2 hours before I could go to sleep trying to figure out how that dude did what he did.
Really?
Dude, that stuff makes
I've
me
heard that.
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've
I,
heard
like
that.
I still don't know, and it's still I still think about
My
it
grandma
every time
calls
I
it
take a
witchcraft.
shower.
I think it's real.
My grandma, I told her, and she was like, "So do you think he was demon possessed, or?"
Yep.
Dude,
that's
listen,
mine too,
I think
yeah.
it was a magic pen or something, Grandma. I don't know.
When people out here reading minds, I'm like, I don't want to be around you. I
Yeah.
have some trauma.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, let's talk about it real quick too before we run out of time.
Anyway,
The roast battle format. So what I'm curious is, Dustin, when I think about your material and just your stage persona overall, roast is almost on the opposite end.
Yeah, unless I can
Of the
roast
spectrum.
myself, I feel like I would do terrible.
I don't think I could roast
Well,
somebody effectively.
Here's
'cause
what I've learned. I thought the
Justin
same thing.
kept asking like for us to do it,
Right.
and I was just
We
like,
could
I
do
kept bailing because I'm like, I don't really think I can do it.
You could do it, especially with me, because you know ahead of time. It's not on the fly, which I think on the fly would be more fun.
Oh, you
But-
don't? You know your competitor?
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah,
really? Okay.
yeah. So like Travis was supposed to go up against Joe Bridges. Shout out to Joe, and he couldn't make it. So I think his kid got sick. I hope Joe. I hope your kid is better because I know he's listening.
Just
Um,
out his life.
Yeah, well,
Love
I
you,
hope his
Joe
kid's
Bridges.
better. So anyway, so I fill in. So we have, I don't know, 12, 16 hours to think and write, less than a day pretty much to think and write for each other. And Travis already had stuff worked out for Joe. So that's stressful. We're kind of last minute.
Yeah.
But what I've learned is that people are just not very good at roasting. Like every time I've gone down there to Knoxville, I'm usually like people come up to me and be like, man, you had one of the best rounds or whatever. Like I was with Jared last time. We had a great round. Travis had great jokes. He won both times. I lost. But, I don't know. It's a different.
Is it like a competition where like he beats you and then he go to another
like
round?
a bracket?
Yeah,
it is, but not in the same night. So like he moved
really?
on to a couple weeks. He'll go back.
Okay,
I might
There's
try
a
to get in on that. Then
Yeah,
I thought it
it's a
was
season.
like
I thought it was just dude, I thought it was just like you're
like
really
comedy
prepared.
knockout. But
You're
just roasting.
really prepared for the
Yeah.
first person,
Nope.
and then you're just like going up against somebody you don't know.
No,
in the
you'll
second
always
round.
know the matchup.
Yeah,
Yeah,
killing
it's-
at the first guy, and then the second guy, you're like, you're fat and you're balding a little bit.
Yeah,
That's
I
pretty
don't know.
much what
Yeah.
everybody says. The problem is there's those obvious ones too that like, oh, you're ugly. Oh, your beard looks funny or what, like you could get laughs that way. But the ones that do well are the creative ones. I told you guys one right before the show that I think is one of the most unique roasts I've ever heard in my life. And I laughed for 3 years about it. Shout out to Andrew McCaffrey. Funniest fucking
Your
dude.
boyfriend.
of
And it's all
time.
like, if you're successful,
dad.
I guess it's all just like appearance based. I mean, because the crowd doesn't know like your personality or your comedy style, so you have to write
Right.
these jokes about
Right.
how this person comes
It
across.
almost gets in the way when you know the
Yeah.
person too well. Like Travis and I are pretty close. Obviously, we spent a lot of time together, so we almost know each other too well for the crowd.
Right.
To where, but he got him. I mean, Travis. We knew driving down. We said whoever gets to the topic of my dad leaving me first is gonna win. They're just gonna win. Like that's gonna crush. And so we flipped. Travis flipped, and he picked to go first. And he said he had his notes, and he was like, Nathaniel used to be in a band with his dad. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Nathaniel was abandoned by his dad. crushes. The entire 100 people in Central Cinema lose it. Go crazy. And I'm like, fuck. Because I have roasts about him. Like, one I said, I think round 2, I was like, a lot of our friends say that Travis and I are actually a lot alike. And now I understand why my dad left me. Which is funny, but he had already beat me to that topic, so they're tired of it. But no, anyways, he won because he said Nathaniel has Native American heritage, and he's like, you can tell that he's Native because his beard is Apache here and Apache there and Apache here. And he's like, and if he took that hat off, you'd see he's slowly being scalped. I was like,
Jesus
damn.
Christ.
Yeah, he went for it, dude.
I don't know
really
if I could
went for
leave that one in.
it was so funny.
Yeah, no,
it
that
was
is
so
very funny.
He did so great, and we had fun too. Also, Sean Carter was there.
Who'd Sean go up against?
He was the judge.
Oh,
so we
okay.
didn't realize that until we got there. He was like, "What's up, losers?" And we were like, "What are you doing here?" And he's like, "I'm a judge." And I was like, "Travis, we're gonna lose this. We're both gonna lose somehow. I can feel it."
Yeah.
So after we went up, it was very fun to have Sean there. He's really quick too with the roasts. He's good at it. Like I don't know if you guys have ever had
He's
the
roasted the
misfortune
audience.
of bombing
Yeah,
and then him
often.
hosting.
Oh yeah.
He'll tear you apart. He'll tear you apart. Like Travis and I we were supposed to do 5 roasts back and forth, so we did 5 each. Very funny. Had a good time. And then they kind of just looked at us like, keep going. So we were like, should we do one more? And the crowd was like, yeah. And so I said we should have stopped. Just before we do this, we should have stopped right there. The rest of them are terrible. So I did something flatlined, bombed. Travis did one. Not very much reaction. And then they went to the judges, and Sean goes, he's like, these guys are both Bristol guys. They're both regulars at my club, which is cool. But it's just really cool to see them go over their time in another city. That's really cool. And I was like, Jesus Christ. I think
That's funny.
he got us roasted better than each other. But that format's fun. I mean, do you think you would enjoy that, Dustin, the roast side of things?
Yeah, I mean, roast seems like being mean to people, and I just feel like I couldn't do that on the fly. But dude, if you're like able to write it ahead of time, yeah. My biggest problem with stuff like that is like anytime I do a show, I'm worried about making sure the audience gets their money's worth or their time's worth.
Yeah.
So if I feel like I'm not gonna do well, it's not like an ego thing. Like I don't give a shit if people think I'm a cool dude or funny.
Yeah.
Personally, I just want the people that showed up that aren't comics to be like, this is fun.
Yeah, this is worth
right,
the money. I understand that.
And I feel like I didn't think I'd do well, but dude, if you know ahead of time and you can plan it a little bit and write, I feel like I'd definitely be interested in doing.
We
something
pretty
like
much
that,
wrote the whole drive down there. I mean, we had 2 hours to kill, and we really hadn't prepped that much for each other, so that was pretty much the drive. What I'll say is like that crowd it's almost like NASCAR. Like they want you to crash. That's what they're there for, is for you to bomb.
Some of the
honestly.
laughs are just people
or to
eating
crush,
it.
right? But like Andrew is a perfect example. Like the matchup just was. I don't know who made that bracket, but the guy that went up against Andrew just got decimated, and the crowd was clearly from joke number 1. They're on Andrew's side. They're having a good time. And shout out to Justin Mays. He puts on a crazy production down there, and Brandy hosts it. Brandy Augustus, Keith Marcel is a judge. It's a great production as a show, but they have a DJ too. And the DJ, much like my co-host over here, has a soundboard full of goodies. And that DJ will fuck you up. I'll tell you right now, that's his whole point, is if you bomb, you're going to get some kind of SpongeBob soundbite that it just makes the crowd know that you ate shit something.
Yeah.
It's bad. Or if you crush, he hits a laugh track button and it like amplifies the laughter in the room.
You've never heard that.
Well, I got one on Travis. That got that. Travis got almost exclusively laugh tracks, but it makes it feel like you're crushing. It's great. Nice. That DJ is really cool. So if you're listening to this, if you're in the Tri-Cities or Knoxville, go check that out. They just started this new season. That was like round 1, so they'll be going for a while. Roast Battles is super fun.
They ever stream that stuff, or is it just?
I don't think so. Yeah. No, I don't know. I could ask.
I don't think I'd want like me insulting people being streamed, because that could get out of hand quickly with comics.
That's the other cool part, I think, and exactly what you said. It's comics. It's all comics. To my knowledge, I don't think anybody was like a first timer going up there. So there's no hard feeling. Everybody's hugging, like dabbing each other.
Yeah, no, but it's just like out of context, get out of hand.
Sure,
very quickly. Like we could really be going after it.
Comedian destroys heckler, but it's actually just a roast video.
And that's like, that's that. Yeah. I don't know.
In the moment, though, it's fun. I mean, is there, Dustin? Do
you know what's so funny about that? That sounds kind of improv-ish, and
I disagree.
Anyway,
I don't think there's anything improv.
Yeah, because like with improv, sometimes you get laughs just from doing poorly.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Sometimes I don't know if you've ever bombed so hard that you've got pity laughs, but I've gotten pity laughs before. Anyway,
a lot of that. Yeah, Dustin, what do you have coming up? I mean, is there? I'm not saying plug your dates. We're not wrapping up quite yet, but like, is there anything on the horizon on your to-do list for comedy?
Yeah, dude, I'm trying to get feature spots, or just like trying to hit clubs that I haven't done. Like I've done time for like a couple promoters. Yeah, and then in like 3 clubs, and that's it.
Shout them out. Like, where you want to go?
Venues. I'm hitting up.
You're like, hold on.
Yeah, I've sent stuff out to like clubs or promoters like in Chattanooga, Knoxville, Nashville,
The Catch,
Charlotte, Atlanta.
Yeah. The Catch is a great club. Danielle's great.
Tallahassee, Tampa. Just a few.
Do you really drive into these places?
Dude, yeah. I mean, if I can get a gig. No, I'm
Tallahassee?
Yeah, if I can get a gig, I'll drive for like 10 hours now and spend a weekend down there.
I would too, yeah.
I'm trying to get,
You're hungry.
I could do host spots, but I'd rather do like opening or feature spots in a new club. Just try that out. Yeah. And if I eat shit.
Have you looked at Cherokee at all?
Yeah. I haven't. No, I haven't.
I reached out to them. I reached out to them.
Yeah, a casino or what? Mm-hmm. What?
Well, they have a club there now. They have a zone, a comedy zone.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Just hang out at the casino for a weekend or something.
Right. Yeah. Well, so I go on there and look at their lineup every now and then, and I'm not trying to be shitty to them. I'm sure the comedians there are hilarious, and I'm sure the promotion is going great. But typically, I don't recognize the names.
No, they're built. It sounds like if it's brand new,
it's pretty new. It's about 6 months old.
Jeff Foxworthy. Yeah.
Was he there?
He was there. Jim Gaffigan was there.
Really?
No, but not at the comedy zone, at the actual casino.
Oh, okay. No. That's
just a terrible joke anyway.
No, I thought you had me sold.
The Cherokee Casino has something very funny. They did. I don't know if they're still doing it, but they did something very funny recently where they put a big old advertisement for their casino like a quarter mile from the Bristol Casino.
It's there, yeah.
Yeah, makes me laugh every time I see it.
Yeah, the Harrah's one or whatever. Yeah, it's obviously they're doing very well. I mean, I don't understand the casino system that well, but obviously they're doing well, and they have a club there now. So yeah, I reached out to them, and it's maybe 2-hour drive from Bristol too. It's 2 hours going to Asheville.
Dude. Like Knoxville's almost 2 hours. Yeah, that's kind of my comfortable window.
Yeah, I'll drive
Atlanta's,
2 hours for a show.
Yeah,
I'm hoping that when the casino in Bristol opens, that they'll do something there too.
I'm going to Nashville and Austin at some point in the near future, and I'm very excited because I'm going to find open mics and.
It's all going to be in vain, but I hope you have a good time.
Appreciate it.
I just spent a couple days. I just don't want to drive all the way down there for a mic, dude.
Do you miss Tyler Gallant that much that you're going to fly down there?
We're Austin?
Because I do.
Yeah, no. By the way, I think I saw he posted. He did the move finally. Congratulations.
I think it was yesterday.
Tyler. Tyler. Hope that's going well. If you're even listening to this, I'll know if we have a random listen from Austin, Texas.
We will.
But. Yes, that's what it was. It's nothing to do with work for either of those things. It's just I want to go see Tyler. And
yeah, that's what I would do too.
Yeah.
I think relocation is an interesting topic. Travis and I talked a lot about that too. I mean,
that's something you would do?
Yeah, that's where I was going with that.
I'm just cutting you off. I've not really asked a lot of questions, so I think take that one to be
if I was a headliner or if I was trying to build a headline an hour, I would probably want to move.
Where would you move?
Oh, I don't know, dude. Probably like Seattle, or Austin. Maybe New York, not LA.
Seattle's a good. Seattle's an interesting one. I don't think I've heard.
That's my number one pick too.
I just want to live in Seattle.
Well, it's honestly. Austin then Seattle for me. As far as comedy goes, if I was moving for comedy, I think Seattle's the perfect size scene. It's
Chicago
huge.
would be cool, but there's just not. There's too many comics there. Not a lot of
and
stuff.
Die in a drive-by shooting. There's a lot of reasons. Yeah.
Chicago's actually a very safe city. There's parts of it that's dangerous, but Chicago is like
large parts of it.
Chicago's my number one city that I just want to live in the country.
Seems cool, dude.
I love Chicago.
Well, you're small. Bullets could go around you easy. I'm a bigger target.
Yeah,
I'm starting to be.
We have two more shitty jokes on the list on the wall.
Yes,
I'm
just gonna. That was so. Yeah, I just felt like
Coburn, Virginia is up next. I'm getting them. Yeah.
Fuck them. No.
So, relocation. I think not only would you do that, Dustin, but you were saying like you want to reach a level locally first before you would feel like you. What's the word? Like not have earned relocation, but like you wouldn't feel like
it would be a waste of time.
Right.
I'm committed to comedy, like to being a comic and getting better, but also like I don't have that drive, that urgency that a lot of people that I know have. Like I just want to spend another year or two getting better, and also like I hate it. Like the further I get, the more I realize that I sucked. So I think I suck right now, and I just don't realize how much I suck until 2 years from now. I want to get better, and then in a few years, I want to be at the point where I can like travel the country and make some money doing computery stuff, and maybe making like $500 every couple weeks doing gigs. You know, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, that'd be.
So that's the cap for you. Like you don't have the Netflix special dreams, or
nah. I would like to be able to make enough money to survive doing comedy and some kind of some job I could do remotely. Yeah, like just travel around and like pick up little kids and sell them or something.
Sure,
pretty easy work. You're not allowed to go back upstairs in my house while you're here. You gotta.
If you have a personal hotspot, that's probably all it takes. You can get them. Yeah. They don't fall for candy anymore. But if you got Wi-Fi, they're on board. Yeah.
Dude, you're a fucking boomer with that statement. Anyway,
tell me I'm wrong.
No, I don't have any aspirations to get huge or whatever. I just want to be. Big enough to satisfy people. I just
all about the girth. Bringing it back.
I just want to be able to.
All about the girth.
I just want to be able to like spend my time doing stuff I like, and I like comedy a lot. So.
I get that.
You're saying it's not about how big you are; it's about how you use it. Is what you're saying? Is that what you're saying?
Not about the size of the boat, but the motion of the ocean.
Yeah. I mean, if you make people laugh, it doesn't have to be the biggest laugh, you know.
Right. Yeah. Right. A lot of people would argue that the laughs you get are above average. Is what I'd say.
Yeah, I just don't want them to block me.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, so the relocation thing is interesting too, because I mean, I'm a little more gung ho about it. I don't have a lot tying me down right now, and I think in the future, like down the road, I know I will.
Shout out to Haley.
I feel a little more urgency. Yeah, she's going to. I feel a little more urgency about it. But Seattle's an interesting choice. What for you makes Seattle stand out?
Well, whenever I was born, it was there. So kind of like
there you go.
No, I don't know.
Whenever I was born, it was there. What a way to say. Yeah, I was born in Seattle.
I don't know. I like the vibe there, I guess. And I mean, there's a pretty good comedy scene there.
Yeah,
very.
Really close to Canada. You can check out the comedy scene there.
Do you want to not sneeze in the mic next time?
Yeah.
Anyway.
See, so that whole like germaphobe thing, definitely like overblown.
I'm glad he uses his
mic. We're that terrified of germs.
We're switching before the next.
Can you breathe that way?
Yeah. It's just COVID.
Yeah, I don't know. I just Seattle seems like a cool place. I like music. I like skateboarding. I like video games. You know, like
you
video
like
game
seafood?
Companies.
A lot of that up there.
I think I would love Seattle too.
I love fish sticks
for all the not the fish sticks reasons, but all the other reasons you just mentioned. You good? I think he's choking. You want to be the new co-host? Because I think
I'm good. I don't know why that caught me so off guard.
You can keep that mic. I know.
There's like that one. There's like 3 or 4 really funny comics there, and Joe List. He might move there, so. I could
there it is. There's our
maybe
answer.
Bump into him at the grocery store.
He's
be
your
like,
guy,
hey man,
right?
you like Thai food? You know,
he's still your guy. I get that reference. I know. Cool. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Michael doesn't, but I.
No, I don't. No.
He's great.
I've got family, and I'm tight with my family. Like I'm not gonna make people or anything.
Yeah. I think Denver's another one that I would put on that scale of like it's not L.A., New York, or Austin. It's right under that.
Yeah.
It's the next step down from that as far as comedy.
I'd like to live in Denver also, but
Denver's
that's for snowboarding.
Yeah, Denver's awesome too.
Yeah. You have a Barbie sweatshirt on, and I just wanted to. I don't want to sit through this whole podcast and not bring it up. It's a pretty dope sweatshirt.
Oh, thanks, dude.
We almost made it through. Yeah.
I like the back a lot more.
Were you upset about the Oscar snub?
I'm Knuff on the back?
No, it says Barbie Dream Car.
Barbie's Dream Car.
Picture of Barbie Dream Car.
I saw a shirt the other day. It was like $40. I would have bought it if it was not $40, but it said "I am Knuff," and it made me because it just made me laugh. But it was like
Are you upset by the Oscar snub for Barbie? Does that upset you at all?
Nah, dude. Yeah, women aren't like as good as no.
Clip it.
No, I actually I have no opinions about the Oscars because it's like, I mean, come on, dude.
So
judging the Oscars, you ever bump into an
Oscar
Oscar judge? You're like, you're a good person, and I value your opinions.
Wait, what? So like Ryan Gosling was that what it was? Like Ryan Gosling got nominated, but Margot Robbie didn't.
Obviously, Margot Robbie's performance was a big part of the movie.
Yeah,
and she did pretty damn well. I mean, I didn't grow up with Barbies. Like,
that
well,
makes one
I did,
of us.
but like, I don't talk about Barbies enough.
Yeah.
Anyway,
That
like
I'm not as invested in the Barbie scene.
I feel like she did good. I don't know.
I liked the movie.
Yeah.
I liked it. You know, it made me hate men.
Already did.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
I feel like there were tons of
tweet
references that I missed.
Yeah.
because,
I did see a tweet or something that said, "I love how them nominating Ryan Gosling for an Oscar really just proved the whole point of the fucking movie."
That's what I saw
And
too.
it's
like this is literally the plot line of Barbie. Yeah,
that made me laugh.
That's probably true. I mean, but I mean, clearly Dustin doesn't respect women, so
Yeah, but it's a cool shirt, I think. Yeah.
It is a cool shirt.
I just want people to be like, why are you wearing that? So I can be like,
yeah.
Push back against
Do you
the
have
gender norms.
Oppenheimer underwear on? Is that how that works?
Oh, I haven't seen it, dude.
Really?
I haven't seen
like
Oppenheimer
Barbie a lot.
either.
I've not
If you
seen
ever need a good
Oppenheimer.
nap, I would recommend it.
Yeah.
Go
I heard
see
it was good.
I know the story
It's long
already,
as hell.
so I feel like
Yeah, boom, boom. I
yeah.
think is kind of the whole thing. That's kind of the whole thing. Yeah, it's honestly that was so stupid. I think it's good. It's very good. I enjoyed it. It's very dramatic and very drawn out. It's very long. If it was an hour shorter, I probably would love it.
It's like a 3-hour movie, isn't it?
right.
Yeah.
I remember I was like, so I've not seen Oppenheimer. I do want to see it 'cause I'm a history nerd. Boom, boom, fucking killed me. That was great. But and 120,000 other people.
That's true. I think more than that. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, 70,000 on the first, 50 on the second. It doesn't matter.
Wow. Wow.
I do remember whenever like those movies are both in theaters, everyone was like, "I'm not going to see Barbie. It's all about Oppenheimer."
Yeah.
And it's like
Barbenheimer.
people made it like Barbenheimer. People made it so political, and I'm like, "Shut the fuck up." Like
Yeah.
it's a movie. It's not for you.
Oh,
the Barbie movie's
you're
not
kind
for
of a
you.
movie guy, right? Dustin? I mean,
I like
You know
movies.
what?
Yeah.
I
I'm
just
kind of a movie snob. Like I'll give any movie a chance, but I'm super critical.
did you see the new Godzilla?
No.
Okay, see, so I haven't seen it either.
Yeah.
And tonight,
Russell, that one?
if you're listening to this, it's too late. It's called Godzilla -1. It came out. I heard it was great.
Yeah.
I planned to go see it, and then when I went to get tickets, it was already gone from theaters.
Feature-length movie in the theaters?
Correct.
No, I
Godzilla
hadn't heard of
-1.
it. Yeah.
Apparently, it's like the best Godzilla of all time. I don't know.
And it was made on like a shoestring budget, right?
Right. It's crazy. I haven't seen it. I didn't get to see it before it left theaters. I was very upset. So tonight, it's too late if you're listening to this. Tonight, as we're recording, a local theater is doing a special showing. It's called Godzilla -1 Color. So it's in black and white. And it's getting re-released. I'm going to go see that tonight. So I'll let you know how that is.
Interesting.
But I think the
black
monster
and
movie
white.
thing I'm not huge on, but I'm curious.
Just watched the new Jurassic Park World
There's another one?
movie. Well, it came out in 2022, but
with all the original characters back,
just
I heard it
watched
was
that
garbage.
yesterday. It was. I mean, it was
Just so
fine.
checked
I
out
don't like the
modern-
implications that Chris Pratt is stronger than a fucking dinosaur. Didn't love that part of the movie.
Implications.
Does he
my
like arm
ass. Have you
wrestle
seen him?
T-Rex?
Dude, no, like he like they're like
It's amazing what testosterone replacement can do.
imagine like okay, you know whenever like a cowboy like has a lasso, puts on a horse, and they catch it like that, you know,
I like how he puts it on a horse.
like
Yeah.
just,
Like,
You know when they
Come here,
gently,
horse.
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
so he does that to a dinosaur,
Yeah.
so like a raptor,
or like
something.
floss on a bee, one of those.
Sure. Does that to like a dinosaur and like jumps off the horse that he's on and like has the lasso around him and like grabs this post and is like strong, like he's stronger than dinosaur. You know that in that Avengers movie where Captain America is like fucking holding on to that helicopter and holding on to that building. It was essentially that thing.
But he's Captain America.
But he's at least Captain America.
Yeah.
Chris Pratt is just
He's
a dude.
you plus a super serum.
Chris Pratt is just a dude in this movie, and they imply that he's
He's
stronger
not
than
just a
dinosaur.
dude. He's
Yeah.
Chris Pratt.
But that universe is kind of one of those universes where they kind of got away from science and logic, and they're just kind of like any of the Marvel movies.
not in the first one though.
You can't. Yeah, I mean the first Jurassic Park or the first
pretty grounded, yeah.
Oh yeah, dude, it just got further and further away.
Right.
And I don't watch any of them.
That's what happened.
Captain America, I haven't seen that shit. I don't know.
You haven't seen
anything
that?
Oh, you're
about
not
it.
a
No.
Marvel guy?
No, I'm not a Marvel. I'm not a
That's
Marvel
weird
guy.
because you
after
strike me as
Endgame.
the exact kind of guy that'd be a Marvel guy.
He
Being a
strikes me.
nerd.
Yeah, he strikes me. You strike me as the kind of guy who is like into Marvel when like I feel like you're not into Marvel anymore, like most of us, but you were like into it.
I love Spider-Man, dude. The first Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It was my jam. It was really good. Even the second or third
Tobey
Tobey Maguire movies, I was like, nah. The first one was cool.
Did
I just
you see
hate
the new one.
Nah.
Spoiler alert.
Dude, the new one.
I didn't see it either.
The
but I
animated
know
one
what
or
happened.
the
No.
I heard the animated one's really good,
good.
but
Dude, I watched
Oh,
the
you haven't
first
seen it?
Spider-Verse movie and I
Oh.
fell asleep. But no, I
Oh,
will
fuck
say
off.
I do like. I was
That's the best movie probably of that year.
I was young and stoned.
It's so good. Oh.
Yeah, but the Tom Holland, I don't care, dude. This is what's up. Anyway,
he's so bad.
cut that. I'm gonna cut that out. It's okay. I just thought I thought through it. No, I have a. That's not something I shouldn't talk about.
You can cut it from the audio. It's staying in the video. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't do it, man. Like I tried watching the Avengers. You seen the Avengers movies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know how the dude Thanos has the
Gauntlet.
glove,
The snap.
gets the stones.
Sure.
Everybody disappears.
Yeah.
Like,
Spoiler.
yeah, spoiler alert. Like,
And you just
okay,
don't
who
care.
made the gauntlet?
The Eternals.
The Eternals, and they made it, and they made the stones.
I don't
And they
remember who
scattered
made
The
the
Eternals
stones.
don't make gauntlets. They're
No,
not
no.
to
The
make
gauntlet.
a
No,
glove.
I'm sorry. I don't know who made the gauntlet.
Somebody's gonna be watching this on YouTube
They-
and going, "These fucking idiots."
I don't
They're
know
all
who made the
these-
gauntlet, but like the Big Bang, I think made the stones.
Yeah.
I don't fucking-
They're all these holes, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think
We're
I think,
avid fans.
dude, I think with the superhero, I think you have to suspend your
Yeah, I
belief.
just
a
can't
little
do it, man. That's why my jokes suck.
I love how you're like, those superhero movies aren't very realistic.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
Yeah.
Technically, he's not wrong.
They're fighting. They're out here fighting gods in
Yeah.
like iron suits.
My mom's the same way. She can't watch. She's like, it's just so corny. And then, but she does it with comedy too. Like I used to have a bit about how every time we try to watch a movie, she would interrupt and be like, "It's just so dumb. It's so
It is,
dumb."
dude.
And I'd be
There's
like,
just-
"Do you think that's maybe on purpose? You know, like
Yeah.
this movie's called Dumb and Dumber."
I think
you
it's
know?
because people who are 12 years old wrote the scripts and they didn't think about all these things.
Right.
I was talking to you or Michael Mullen, maybe somebody. We were talking about superheroes at the club and how dumb they are. Like they all have like outfits. They all have uniforms. Like who makes the outfits? I know Peter Parker's aunt made his.
It's
Who
that
makes
little
their
short-
outfits?
I think Peter Parker made his.
They're
didn't
all
he?
form fitting. Who washes them? You know how bad those dudes stink. Imagine you
Edna
like
Mode.
fighting crime for 2 or 3 days. Your
Edna
suit just
Mode.
smells like ass.
I know the answer to this. It's
what?
Edna Mode. She makes them. Yeah, I know that.
Word.
No capes. Yeah. Shout out.
Was this something I'm supposed to know?
Apparently not.
Cool.
Somebody's
cool,
never
cool,
seen
cool.
that movie, but that's all right. She's who makes it though.
Okay.
Little short lady.
We really got it on a tangent
I
about
think so.
superheroes.
Yeah.
Who do you think would win in a fight, Batman or Spider-Man?
Spider-Man.
Really?
Yeah, rich people think that they're badasses, but they just they got nothing, dude.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that'd be a tough one.
Mhm.
Batman did kill Superman.
Yeah,
I
then
think.
he didn't build any of that shit. He just paid somebody to build it. It
It's true.
breaks. He's like,
Mhm.
"How do you fix it?" They're like, "Turn it off, turn it back on." It doesn't
Yeah.
work. Spider-Man's like, psst, psst, psst. "Yeah."
Well,
I think
here-
Hulk or Superman.
I'm going to ask a very important question before we
Superman.
wrap up. Dustin.
Superman's
and I
literally a
want your
god.
honest answer to this. We have an election coming up, but are you voting? Who are you voting for?
I don't vote, dude. I voted hard. I voted hard for a decade and a half. Everybody around me was like not paying attention to anything until election
I did
time.
not know that was coming up. That caught me off
That's
guard.
going to be every guest
Jesus
for future
Christ.
episodes.
No, it's
for the
not.
rest of the
It's
year.
not,
Every guest
because
will
I don't
answer
want
that
people.
question.
I don't want people answering that question.
If you have an opinion about
changing
who
the
you're voting
podcast
for,
name.
you're an idiot.
Welcome back to
I-
Talking Red and Blue on this podcast.
Talking purple. No,
Talking
I
purple.
don't want the answer to that question a lot of the time. So, unless
We're
you
gonna
agree
have
with
some
me,
real
no.
interesting guests.
I hiked the Appalachian Trail, and whenever I was on
knew
the
it'd
trail,
make it in
yeah,
this episode.
I
Yeah.
always, every conversation.
Yeah.
Harambe, that whole thing about the monkey,
Yeah.
and
Uh-huh.
the gorilla.
The
that died.
gorilla.
I missed so many popular culture things when I got off. Everybody was referring to them, and I was like, I just made me realize like it doesn't matter, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
Nobody's-
so much
yeah.
better without it.
I
Did
mean,
you
I
cry
still.
when you found out about her.
Oh no, I didn't care at all. But yeah,
neither did the rest of us, but it was cool.
I did.
Anyway,
I checked
About the
out of
gorilla, not the
everything
kid.
at
Fuck
that
that
point,
kid,
dude. I
yeah.
came back and everything was still a mess, and I was like, you guys are idiots. I stopped voting, stopped going to church, I stopped like hugging people.
you got it real deep.
I tell you,
love
that's a
it.
good question. It really
It's
cracked him
not.
open. Dustin, last time you were here, your advice was I don't want to speak for you, Michael. For me personally, probably my favorite advice that we've had on the show. I think
Just
it was
keep
unique.
walking.
It was very personal,
What a
but
dumbass bit of
metaphorical.
advice, dude. That was.
I thought it
I
was
liked
great.
it. No, I
That was
loved
great.
it, man. I use it in my
Is there
professional
anything
career.
that you have learned since the last time you were on the show that you now feel would be a good piece of knowledge to pass on to somebody who's just starting out in comedy? Besides just keep walking, which is great advice.
I should have thought about this, dude. I knew you guys.
You
would
knew it
ask.
was coming.
Honestly,
yeah.
he probably didn't think it was coming since we already asked him once.
it's
I don't
coming.
know.
Yeah. Whenever I meet people now that are getting into comedy, I mean, I still like that advice, just to keep going at it, dude. But it's so unpredictable.
Sure.
Yeah, we should have planned it. We should have talked about it.
You're the one
Yeah.
who, yeah.
I am a planner. I'm a writer. I'm not an improv guy. Yeah.
I don't really like improv, so it's all right.
No, I mean, like,
even though this whole podcast is improv, but whatever.
we talked about it last time, and then people have said it before. My biggest piece of advice right now is like self-awareness.
Yeah.
Take videos of your sets and acknowledge how your jokes come across to other people, because man, it sucks so much for me realizing that it's not all about writing good, clever jokes. It's about like how you deliver them, and the wording and the energy you have and stuff. Yeah, it's so tough because I that's not what I want it to be. Yeah, but the art form is so much about just like delivery and about connecting with the audience.
Yeah, and when you get on stage and, I mean, you tell a whole audience that, you know, Trump 2024 like you do, I think that it goes really well, and that connection is what you're getting.
I don't appreciate you misquoting. Yeah, 2024, 28, 32 forever and ever. That's
what he actually says.
He's wanting to reestablish a monarchy. Let's go.
That's true.
Anything you want to plug before we get out of here? Obviously, you have your website, your social media.
Yeah, come check out my website, dude. I'm such a nerd. It's a
you still got that Easter egg thing?
Yeah, so my comedy birthday is coming up in May, and I'm gonna do like an Easter egg hunt on my website. I'm gonna give away. I've got some new merch designs that are like some new T-shirts and stuff. So I'm gonna give those away and some tickets. Maybe some other stuff. Cool. Maybe like a night out for a couple or whatever.
Like speeding tickets you're giving
yeah, show,
movie ticket,
dinner show, my face on your chest, stuff like that.
Oh.
Yeah, but
and where can we buy these?
Yeah, DustinAcomedian.com is the website.
Down below.
And I assume all your dates will be plugged there too.
Yeah, I've got like one show booked right now, another one in the works, but yeah, everything's on there. And
I forced my way
that Easter egg hunt is live, but just a preview.
Will it still be in 2 weeks?
Oh, yeah. Okay, it's going to be live till May. There's a preview up right now.
So if you want to color Easter eggs or whatever he's talking about, go to his website and you can find that there.
Follow me on social media for more information because I'm dropping hints there. I mean, it's a fucking computer internet Easter egg hunt, guys. It's not a button you go click on. You got to
cicada.
Find the secret door, solve the puzzles.
111 or something.
Yeah, pretty dumb. Yeah.
Did you guys get the cicada thing? Do you guys know what that is?
Or the little bugs?
But the Easter egg hunt, the big one. Do you guys remember that?
No.
Okay, look it up. Cicada internet thing. It's not a big deal. Sorry.
There it is.
So that was our show. Follow me on Instagram and Threads. Michael Rose Comedy. The podcast is Talkin Bits Podcast.
Yep.
Right? Okay.
Talkin Bits Pod.
Talkin Bits Pod. Mm-hmm. Oh, on Instagram. And Nathaniel.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot going on right now. Instagram, NLB_423. I've got some new merch on the way too, so I got some stickers. Come buy my stickers so I can eat this week. And Dustin and I have a show together. It's a ways out. It's in March, I think. I don't know the date off the top of my head, but just follow either of us, both of us, show.
I'm gonna sneak my way on that.
I'm
show.
sure we'll plug it. You can't. I did it. It's full.
Cool. Cool.
I'm already the late edition.
Is that the real comedy show?
Yes.
Yeah. I've got the info on my website. Yeah.
So
it's at The Rock. Yeah.
I'm an idiot. Go to Dustin's website and check that out. If you're in North Carolina, what town is that?
That's a good question. It's near Greensboro.
Okay. Yeah. If you're in North Carolina, if you're over there anywhere, come out. It's going to be fun. That'll be my first time over there. Not my first time with that promoter, but first time in that venue.
Who's
so that'll
the promoter?
Be fun. LA.
Oh, cool.
So that'll be a lot of fun. You can catch Meredith there too, and she's disgusting. So come laugh and cringe with us. No, it's going to be fun. The three of us in a car for that long is going to be interesting. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, LA said that he likes the dynamic that Meredith and I bring to shows because I give off like she's very sexual and I'm like very not sexual at all. Like just gross.
It's a good balance.
Yeah. I like it. Well, that was our show. Thank you guys for checking us out. Subscribe, rate, whatever. If we're on YouTube, I don't know. Subscribe to us.
Sure. Yeah, give us money.
Give us money.
Your Venmo. Yeah.
Yep. Dicks out for Harambe. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.